Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV in conjunction with Colfax High School presents Viking pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings girls game. And now, Viking pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN-TV studios, where tonight the Vikings are getting ready to battle in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference as they take on the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Rick Olson here, and soon I'll head over to the school and join Dan Petchow as we're getting ready to bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's contest. The Vikings are trying to hold on to their position at the top of the Dunn-St. Croix Conference, while the Hilltoppers are looking to avenge a close 49-43 loss at the hands of the Vikings back on December 11th. Now, coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Glenwood City Hilltoppers and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Sarar's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, we'll bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school girls basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where Dan Petchow and I are getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's girls basketball game between the 5-10 Glenwood City Hilltoppers and the 9-3 Colfax Vikings. The Vikings are currently sitting at 9-1 in the conference, and a victory tonight would keep the Vikings all alone in the lead in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference. A full game ahead of Durand and 2 games ahead of Elk Mound and Mondovi. Now, back on December 11th, the Vikings were able to defeat these same Hilltoppers in a close 49-43 matchup in Glenwood City. In that game, the Vikings were led by the 12-point scoring night of freshman forward McKenna Shipman. The Vikings are currently riding a 7-game winning streak, including last night's 54-38 victory over the Elk Mound Mounders. Leading the way in scoring for the Vikings in that game was Maddie Barstead, the junior swing forward, who put in 13 points. She was followed by senior guard Addison Olson, who added 10 points, along with senior forward Bailey Bradford, who pitched in another 8. The Viking leaders thus far this season are Barstead, who's averaging just over 13.5 points per game, followed by freshman McKenna Shipman and her nearly 7 points per game. They're followed by senior Addison Olson and junior Jasmine Best, who are averaging almost 6.5 points per game each. Barstead is also the Viking leading rebounder, pulling down nearly 8 boards per game. Now, the last time Glenwood City Hilltoppers faced the Vikings, they were led in scoring by 5'10" senior guard Maddie Elke, who scored 15 points. This season, the Hilltoppers are averaging nearly 45 points per game while giving up 56. That compares to the Vikings, who are averaging just over 57 points per game while giving up 42. The Hilltoppers are led this season by Elke, who's putting up 11.5 points per game. Behind her are senior guard Isabella Rosbach and senior forward Delaney Fairweather, who add 9.5 and 8 points per game respectively. The leading rebounder for the Hilltoppers is Elke, who's pulling down just over 7.5 boards per game. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective on tonight's game between the Vikings and the Hilltoppers as we chat with Viking head coach Courtney Sarar on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you'll go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, what they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
We're talking today with Viking girls head coach Courtney Serrar. And Coach, last night the Vikings got a little better foothold on first place in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference with an impressive 54-38 victory over the Elk Mound Mounders. Now, just in case anybody missed that, how about filling us in on that game?
Yeah, it was a huge win for us. You know, it kept us in first place. Started off a little slow, but, second half, we were really able to pick up our defense and put the ball in the basket to pull away. So, I was super impressed with Addison Olsen and Jazzy Best and how they just did an excellent job on, that Blaskowski and really got her tired and frustrated. And that was a huge key for us. Lots of kids came ready to play. And it was just overall a really great team win.
One of the things Dan and I noticed last night, particularly about Addie Olsen, but Jazzy Best as well, when they have to pick up their game defensively, it seems to rub over to the offensive end for them as well. I mean, Addison scored 10 points, which is a lot for her, and I think it's just the whole energy level gets picked up because she has to boost it up a little to play that defense against somebody like Blaskowski.
Yeah, hats off to both Addison and Jazzy. I think, they realized too that in turn how tired she was, that she couldn't, defend them either. So they got a lot of cuts to the basket, a lot of driving layups, which is good. Those are those high percentage shots that we need. And those have a high chance of going in. So I thought they did a really great job moving without the ball and penetrating when they should penetrate and kicking when they needed to kick. And it was a great game for both of them.
Now, celebrating a victory like that doesn't get to last long because you're back at it tonight. And the Vikings are going to be taking on a struggling Glenwood City Hilltoppers. But don't let that 5-10 record fool you. They've started to come on strong with winning 2 of their last 3 games. What can you tell us about the kind of challenges the Hilltoppers present?
Yeah, I mean, they have, another really athletic girl in that Maddie Elke and a couple of kids who just, really attack the offensive glass hard. So we'll have to make sure, that we box out and rebound and keep that Elke in control and just make sure that we, come ready to play right from the start and show them, we're in first place in the conference for a reason. And, we don't think they can play with us and establish that right from the get-go.
Now, last time these two teams met over in Glenwood City, the Hilltoppers did give the Vikings everything they could handle before the Vikings pulled away for a 6-point decision, 49-43. Now, Glenwood City was led by, you mentioned her, Maddie Elke, who put up 15 points. What do you need to do to shut her down?
She's left-handed, so, and she's athletic, she's tall, she's going to get her points because, she's a great player. We just have to make sure that, when she shoots it, that's it. That's all she gets. She's not getting any offensive rebounds or, we can't lose her for layups, those types of things, and just do a better job on those 2 parts, and I think we'll be fine.
Lots of one-and-dones we hope for.
Yes.
Okay. Any Viking players that need to put a little extra into tonight's game?
One thing I've always said is that we just have a lot of kids who can play. We have a lot of kids who can put the ball in the basket, and it's fun to see, who's going to step up for us tonight. Maddie's been kind of a consistent scorer for us, and I imagine, that'll be the same tonight. But, after that, it really is hit or miss, who's going to, be the hot hand. Last night for us, Bailey hit some huge shots for, from 3, and McKenna had some key layups. We just had a lot of pretty even scoring. So I'm interested to see, if that is going to continue tonight. And, I hope it does, because it's hard to shut down, 8 kids who can score. So,
that's something that Dan and I have been talking about for especially the last half of the season here, how your scoring seems to be 9-10 kids deep, and that's a really big plus.
Yeah, it's a huge asset for us, because it's hard to defend 1 through 5. A lot of teams have 2 or 3 great defenders, but when you have 5 kids on the floor all the time who can shoot, who can score, it's a challenge for the other team. So I'm interested to see how they handle that and step up. And we're a completely different team than when we played them the first time. So.
Yeah, I would sure say that. It's been a lot of fun watching these girls develop as a team. And holy cow, McKenna Shipman. I mean, I got to mention her. She's a freshman. And if that isn't a diamond in the rough, I don't know what is, because she is sure coming on strong.
Yeah, McKenna is just one of those kids who just loves to play. She, has a knack for the ball. She just, kind of seems to be in the right place at the right time and makes huge shots for us when we need her. I think about, the tough conference games that we played, at home against Durand. She was, huge for us. Last night against South Mountain, she did a great job on that route. Wants her to step up. She made some, key drives to the basket that kind of got us, going on our second half run. And she's, she's still got a lot to learn. Like you said, she's a freshman, she's young, and she's only going to keep getting better.
So tonight it's the Hilltoppers. Coach Serrar, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings can extend that winning streak to 8 games.
I hope so.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Welcome back to Viking pregame. Tonight, the Vikings face a Dunn-St. Croix conference matchup as they take on the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. The Vikings are currently 9-1, and the Hilltoppers are 4-5 in the Dunn-St. Croix conference. The Vikings are looking to stay at the top of the conference standings, while the Hilltoppers wouldn't mind one bit playing the spoiler role. So the stage is set for some exciting girls high school basketball, and we'll bring you all the action right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Now, in just a moment, I'll head over to the school and join my colleague Dan Petschow as we're getting ready to bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's girls basketball game between the Colfax Vikings and the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Vikings girls game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
NLWN-TV is excited to present live NWA RCI's racing action. Next Saturday, January 30th, we will present racing from Stanley, Wisconsin. Join us at 11:45 a.m. from Otter Lake in Stanley. These races are sponsored by the Curve Inn in Stanley. That's live ice racing action at 11:45 a.m. on Saturday, January 30th on NLWN-TV.
Colfax Viking basketball is on the air.
They're at the free throw line to Addison from three. She hit it! Addison Olsen with the three-point.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV proudly presents tonight's Colfax Viking girls varsity basketball game.
Bomb being chased down and finally pulled away by Barstead, who puts it up and in.
Join us as we head out to the gym for tonight's Viking basketball.
Look to Best. Best drives into the lane, puts up a shot, rattles around and in. And good evening and welcome to Colfax High School. Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's game between the Colfax Vikings and the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. And we're going to send it right back down to the scorers table and get the starting lineups from there.
Introducing the starters for the Hilltoppers. Number 4, senior Isabella Roscoe. Senior Madeline Elke. Number 12, junior Kendall Hughes. Number 22, freshman Maya Elke. And number 34, senior Lady Clearwater. The Hilltoppers are led by head coach Carly Gilson. And now the starting lineup for your Colfax Vikings. Number 10, senior Addison Olsen.
And so there's the starting lineups. That again for the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. We have Rosbach, Maddie Elke, Schultz, Raya Elke, and Fairweather are the starting five for the Vikings. It's the usual five: Olson, Bradford, Harmon, Barstead, and Paulus for the Vikings. So we're waiting for the teams to come back out on the floor. I'm here with Dan Petchow, and he's got all of his information ready to rock and roll. And Hilltoppers to inbound. Fairweather is going to inbound the ball. Looking for somewhere to go, and the Vikings are putting a lot of pressure on inbound pass. She gets it into Rosbach. And then she feeds it over to Schultz. Between the circles, over to Rosbach on the left side, back out to Schultz. Over to Fairweather on the right, back out to Schultz. Now it's Elke. This is Maddie Elke. Over to Raya. That's how they said it. Raya, I believe. And the shot from the free throw line is good by Kendall Schultz. And Glenwood City takes a 2-0 lead as the Vikings come down the floor. Olsen on the dribble. She feeds it over to the left side to Bradford. Out to Paulus at the top of the key. Paulus over to Harmon on the right. Feeds it into the lane to Barstead. Barstead back out to Paulus. Over to Bradford. To Barstead at the top of the key. Takes it over to the left side. To Paulus on the right side. To Olsen cutting the lane. She lays it up and in. Addison Olsen ties it up for the Vikings. And the Vikings putting on full court pressure. Coming down the floor is Schultz. She picks up the dribble. She's double teamed. Feeds the ball over to Rosbach. It comes down the floor. Feeds it over to Raya. Then down underneath and throws the ball away, and it goes to the Vikings. Raya to hit Sister Maddie with the pass and put it up a little bit too high for her. Olsen brings the ball down the floor. Feeds it over to the left side to Paulus. Back out high to Harmon. Over to Barstead on the left. Now down on the way out to the left side to Olsen. She drives the lane. Puts the shot up high off the glass. No good. Barstead with the rebound. The shot back up. It's no good. And the Hilltoppers come away with it. Schultz down the floor. Or that Schutz down the floor. To Raya. Feeds the cutting Rosbach, who lays it in. And Glenwood City on top, 4-2. Olsen takes it down the right side of the lane, feeds it back out to Barstead, puts up a three, off the iron, good. Glenwood City with the rebound. Down the floor comes Maddie, and her pass for Raya is intercepted by Barstead. Barstead at the top of the key to the free throw line, down into the lane, and she gets tripped up with a push. So the Vikings will have it on the side. And that foul was called on Raya Elke. First personal, first team foul on Glenwood City. Vikings ready to inbound it to Bradford. Over to the right side to Harmon, launches three. She hit that three-pointer. Nothing but net for Marissa Harmon. A lot of pressure by the Vikings in the backcourt. And Glenwood City throws the ball out of bounds, and the Vikings get it. Turnover number one caused by the Vikings. Maybe Dan will keep track of that stat for us. First turnover caused by the Vikings. Harmon gets it into Barstead. Now down to the left corner. Harmon puts up the three off the iron. No good. Barstead with the rebound. He gets it over to the left side to Bradford. Bradford drives to the lane. Kicks it out to Olsen at the top of the key. Olsen over to Barstead. Barstead drives into the lane. Back out to the left corner to Bradford. Her shot is no good. Rebound. They tip it out to Olsen. Olsen between the circles. They settle things down. To Hart on the right, now to Bradford. Over to the left side to Barstead. To Olsen in the left corner. Olsen tries to drive over to the lane. Gets it out to Harmon. To Bradford. Puts up the three-pointer, no good. And Raya Elke gets the rebound for Glenwood City. Vikings up by one. 5-4. Glenwood City feeds it into the lane to Raya Elke, and she puts it up and in. 6-5. Glenwood City with the lead. Olsen on the dribble. She feeds it over to the right side to Harmon. High, wide, and right. Takes it between the circles. Over to Olsen on the left. Olsen tries to drive towards the lane. Passes back out to Bradford. Puts up the three-pointer. No good. Rebound taken down by Barstead to Harmon. And feeds it to Olsen. She runs into a little bit of traffic. Loses control of the ball. And here comes Glenwood City. Rosbach feeds it over to the right side to Schutz. Then down into the corner, back out to Schutz. To Rosbach between the circles. Down into the corner to Fairweather. Long three-pointer, no good. Long rebound taken down by Paulus. Feeds it to Harmon, who lays it up and in. 7-6, the Vikings back on top. Marissa Harmon with 5 points so far. Down the floor come Glenwood City, and that's Kendall Schutz with the shot. It's no good, and Barstead comes away with the rebound, feeds it off to Olsen. She takes it to the top of the key, feeds it back out to Barstead. Barstead to Harmon, over to Bradford on the right side. Bradford to the top of the key, to hitting Olsen. She goes up but draws the foul. Addison Olsen going to go to the line for 2. Her first shot's on the way, and it's good. And the second shot's on the way. It's also good. Nothing but net that time for Addison Olsen. She's got 4 points on the night. Down the floor comes Glenwood City. Maddie Elke's pass gets intercepted by Barstead. She brings it back down the floor. Cuts into the lane. Short jumper from the lane. Nothing but net this time. 11-6. Vikings on top. Glenwood City brings it down the floor. Fairweather feeds it down to Rhea Elke, who had her heel on the end line. That's another turnover forced by the Vikings, and a timeout on the floor. Vikings 11, Glenwood City 6. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV in conjunction with Colfax High School presents Viking pregame.
Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380. And we're back here at Colfax High School. Vikings bring the ball down the floor. Jasmine Best on the dribble. Feeds it over to the left side. They get it down underneath to Barstead. Barstead circling around at the free throw line. Gets it out to the left side. Shot goes up there by Shipman, and it's a good rebound. Gets tied up underneath. We have a jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings.
Colfax getting next second chance points here and rebounds. That's good.
Irwin inbounds it to Barstead. Barstead puts it up off the glass and in, and Vikings go up 13-6. Glenwood City has it. Got a trap in the as they brought it across the timeline. Now we have a loose ball on the floor and a lot of bodies flying all over the place. And we're going to get a jump ball called. Almost looked like an upside down rugby scrum. They were kind of laying on their backs on their sides. Glenwood City had the possession arrow, so Fairweather to inbound it. She gets it, but it's picked off by the Vikings by Irwin. It's to Shipman, and then over to Best. Best brings it across the timeline quickly down the floor. She gets out to Emily Bertram Schofield. Schofield puts it up and lays it in. Bertram Schofield with the layup. 15-6. Vikings up by 9. And here comes Glenwood City down the floor. They feed it down to Maddie Elke. Drives into the lane, puts the shot up. It's no good. Rebound taken away by Best. She takes it down the floor. Takes down the right side of the lane, puts on the brakes, gets it out to Shipman, puts up the 3, no good. Rebound taken out to Glenwood City. That's Ross back on the dribble. And she brings it across the timeline, feeds it over to the right side. That's Rhea Elke. Now down into the lane, shot goes up, no good. A rebound tipped around, knocked back inbounds. Loose ball on the floor, and the Vikings come away with it. Ross back, check that. Irwin with it. Gets it out to Bertram Schofield. Now to Parker. Parker puts up the three-pointer. And it's good. That shot was as flat as a pancake, but it went through the hole. Counts 3 either way. 18-6. Vikings on top. Glenwood City down the floor, putting up the shot. It's Elke, and it's no good, and the Vikings come away with the rebound. Best to bring it down across the timeline. Feeds it over to the left side to Bertram Schofield. Drives into the lane. Turnaround jumper is up and in. 20-6. Vikings up by 14, 10:54 to go in the first half. Glenwood City with the ball. Fairweather into the forecourt. He's double teamed over by the sideline. Feeds it over to Elke. That's Maddie. She gets it out to, that was Rosbach with the three-pointer. 20-9, Vikings on top. Best with it. He feeds it over to Bertram Schofield. Tries the right baseline. Sit out to Parker. Puts up the in. Riley Parker with the three-pointer. 23-9, Vikings on top. Parker breaks on the ball, steals it, and then took an extra step trying to get the ball from her hands to the dribble. The feet were a little faster than her hands were that time.
Yeah, good job by Riley Parker. 6 quick points and creating some turnovers.
And Glenwood City has the ball into the lane to Rhea, and we have a jump ball called underneath the basket on the rebound. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. Shipman going to inbound it to Best. Best brings it down across the timeline. Feeding it over to the right side to Irwin. Cross-court pass over to Shipman. Three-pointer on the way, in and out, no good. And Glenwood City brings it down the floor. Shuts on the dribble. They get it over to the right side to Rhea Elke. Feeds it into the lane to Rosbach. He puts it up. It goes in and draws the harm. So we have a foul being called on Emily Bertram Schofield. Her first team foul off the Vikings. And Rosbach has a chance for an old-fashioned three-pointer, and she doesn't get it. Rebound by Glenwood City. They get the ball out to Rosbach, but she loses the handle, gets out to the timeline, but then recovers it. Gets it over to the right side. That's to Olsen. And then over to Schutz, and now out to Rosbach. Over to Rhea Elke. Pass into Maddie Elke, and she turns around and draws the foul as she tries to put it up. And the foul is going to be on Jasmine Best. It's her first personal, second team foul. Elke's first shot is good. Arstead into the lineup, replacing Shipman for the Vikings. Second shot on the way. It's also good. There's a reason Elke is their leading scorer for Glenwood City. Best brings the ball across the timeline. She's between the circles. Top of the key now. Leads it over to the right side to Irwin. Down into the right corner to Bertram Schofield. Back out to the top of the key to Noel. Arstead then back out to Irwin, and she took an extra step. So the ball goes over to Glenwood City. 23-13, Vikings on top. Rhea Elke with ball. Pass gets a little bit out of control, and another turnover on behalf of the Vikings.
Yeah, good, or what do I want to say? I'll let that one go.
Dan, he's a man of many words, but sometimes they don't all come out of his mouth. All right, Noel has it on and feeds it over to the right side to Barstead. She takes it to the free throw line, turns around, drives into the lane, puts the shot up off the glass, no good. Rebound coming away with it is Glenwood City, and stealing in behind is Emily Bertram Schofield. Feeds it down into the corner to Best. Best launches a three, it's no good. Irwin gets the rebound. Feeds it down underneath Bertram Schofield. Then out to Noel from the free throw line. Off the glass, off the rim, and the rebound by Glenwood City. Schutz brings it across the timeline for the Hilltoppers. Over to the left side now to Olsen. Down into the left corner to Maddie Elke. Three-pointers no good. Rebound taken down by the Vikings. They get it to Best, and she comes down across the timeline with it. Over to Bertram Schofield, drives into the lane, puts the shot up, and it's in. Shot up off the glass, and we have another timeout being called by the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. 7:41 to go in the first half. Vikings 25, Hilltoppers 13, and you are tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
And we're back here at Colfax High School. By the way, we have a first half score on the boys game tonight. The boys are down to Durand, taking on the Panthers, and right now it's a 1-point game. It's Durand 12 and the Vikings 11 with 10 and some change to go or something like that in the first half. We have 7:41 to go in this first half as Glenwood City getting ready to inbound it. Schutz brings it down the floor. Across the timeline. Now she's double teamed. Tries to feed it across, and she does finally to Rosbach, who takes it over to the right side. She's being double teamed. Then out to Rhea Elke. Feeds it into the lane to Maddie Elke. Ball gets knocked away by the Vikings. Jasmine Paulus got a hand in on that one. They get it out to Olsen, who feeds it down to the right corner. Harmon puts up the three. It's no good. Rebound. We're going to have a whistle and foul. And I believe... Oh, the foul is on Glenwood City, on Devin Olsen. Inbound pass comes in to Barstead, over to Olsen. To Bradford. Addison Olsen puts up the three, and she hit. 7 points for Addison, and she gets the steal. It's another turnover for the Vikings. Gets it out to Paulus. Feeds it down low to Barstead. Turnaround jumper in the lane. It's good. 30-13, Vikings on top. Glenwood City gets it in, gets it to Devin Olsen, and she feeds it off to Key, who then gets it over to Schutz. His shot is no good, and down the floor come the Vikings, and the Vikings are looking to run tonight. They feed it over underneath to Harmon, who puts it up and in. 32-13. Long pass to Rhea Elke, and she gets it over to Key. Feeds it out high to Schutz. Schutz's shot is no good. And rebound, Maddie Elke kind of had it, and it's off her fingertips out of bounds, and it'll be Viking ball. We have a couple substitutes taking place right now. Olsen brings it down the floor for the Vikings. Right through the middle of the center circle. Now over to the left, now feeds it off to the right side to Harmon. Puts up the three, it's off the mark, and Glenwood City comes away with it. Down the floor they come. This is Schutz with it. He feeds it over to Devin Olsen on the left. Then down to Rhea Elke inside the arc, but she hit the shot. 32-15. Addison with it. Gets it out to Barstead. Puts up the three-pointer. No good. Rebound taken away by Glenwood City. Pass gets tipped, but Glenwood City gets it back, and then Addison Olsen steals it across the timeline. Here she comes down the right side. Gets down to the baseline. Tries to feed it across. Gets knocked out of bounds by Maddie Elke. So it'll be Viking ball under their own basket. Harmon to inbound it. Feeds it into Paulus. Paulus takes it to the lane. Now out to the right side to Harmon. Puts up the shot. Way off. But Olsen gets it. Lays it up. It does not go, but she drew the foul. Addison Olsen going to the line for two. First shot's on the way. It's good. And her second shot is up way off the back of the air, and it's no good. Rebound taken down by Maddie Elke, gets it over to Rhea Elke. They feed it out between the circles to Schutz, and now Fairweather back out to Schutz. Three-pointer on the way, and she hit it from the top of the key. 33-18, Vikings on top. Here comes Olsen, drives down the right side of the lane. Gets it out to Paulus, over to Barstead. Quickly over to the left side to Bradford. Feeds to Olsen, cutting into the lane, lays it up off the glass, no good. Rebound taken by Glenwood City. That's Schutz with it as she comes across the timeline. Down the left side of the lane, gets it out to Olsen, feeds it in to Maddie Elke, and she puts it up. It's off the iron, no good. Rebound by the Vikings. And here comes Olsen. We got a lot of end-to-end going on right now. Olsen takes it to the lane, gets it out to Paulus, over to Harmon in the right corner. Harmon dribbles it out high. Back to Paulus in the corner. To Barstead at top of the key to the free throw line. Feeds it over to Bradford on the left side. Shot is no good. Rebound taken down by Glenwood City. They get it over to Schutz between the circles. Feeds it over to Rhea Elke on the right side. Over to Olsen on the left. Pass into the lane. Gets knocked loose by the Vikings. Struggle for the ball. Goes out of bounds. And last touch by Marissa Harmon. Hockey line change time for the Vikings. 5 in, 5 out. Fairweather to inbound for Glenwood City. She gets it to Schutz, who brings it across the timeline. To Fairweather. Over to Rhea Elke from the left side. She hit it. 33-21. Vikings up by 12. Best feeds it across the timeline to Bertram Schofield, and we got a whistle. Foul down on the floor. And that foul is going to be on Rhea Elke. It's her second personal. 15 foul on Glenwood City. Irwin looking to get it in, but the pass is a little bit high. Glenwood City gets it. Schutz takes it down, lays it up. It doesn't go. They get the rebound, putting it up. That was Rosbach putting it up and in, and drew the foul on the way up. Isabella Rosbach. The foul is on Jasmine Best. It's her second. Rosbach shot it off the back of the air, and it's no good. Rebound taken down by Rhea Elke, and she lays it up and in. Vikings bring it down the floor. Long pass down into the forecourt. Emily Schofield feeds it over to Parker, who lays it up and in. Riley Parker with 8 points on the night so far. 3:11 to go in the first half. 35-25. Vikings back up by 10. Fairweather with it across the timeline. He feeds it down into the right corner to Rhea. Puts up the shot, and it goes in. Glenwood City cutting the lead back to 8. Best gets it across the timeline to Shipman. To Parker, who tries a long pass and gets intercepted by Glenwood City. Glenwood City trying to step their way back into it. Fairweather takes it over to the right side to Rhea. Gets it out high to Schutz. Schutz drives the lane, puts it up. It's no good. Rebound tipped around. Coming away with it is Rhea. She puts the shot up. It's no good, and the Vikings come away with it. Best brings it across the timeline. She's at the top of the key. Spins. Gets it over to Owen. Launches the three. It's off the back of the air. No good. Bertram Schofield with it. Tries to put up a shot. It doesn't go, but she drew the foul. Emily Bertram Schofield will go to the line for 2 as the foul was on Fairweather. Fairweather's first personal. 6th team foul on Glenwood City. So the Vikings will be in the bonus after this free throw by Emily Bertram Schofield. Second shot on the way. Rolls around and in. 36-27, Vikings by 9. Glenwood City inbounds it to Rhea. Rhea Elke. She brings it up across the timeline. Gets it out high to Rosbach. Over to Schutz. Down to Fairweather. Back out high. That's Schutz with it. High, wide, and right. Cross court pass over to Rhea. Back out to Schutz. To Rosbach. Takes it out between the circles. Feeds it over to Fairweather on the right. She drives down toward the lane. Puts it up. It rolls around in and out. And Vikings come away with the rebound. Emily Bertram-Schofield feeds it down under the basket to Irwin. Irwin lays it up and in. Abby Irwin with the nice layup. Glenwood City has it. They'll get it across the timeline to Fairweather. Feeds it down to Maddie Elk. Puts a short jumper up and in. 38-29. Vikings by 9. They feed it to try to get it across the timeline, but it gets knocked out of bounds by Rhea Elke. And the officials evidently didn't like that ball. So Irwin to inbound it. Gets Emily Bertram-Schofield. Feeds it over to Best. Under a minute to go in the first half. Bertram-Schofield feeds it down into the corner to Shipman. Shipman gets it to Parker, who tries to get it out to Best. And we're going to get a foul called. And should be a bonus shot. And Riley Parker is going to the line for the 1-and-1. The foul, by the way, was on Kendall Schutz for Glenwood City. It's her second personal. It is the 7th team foul. Parker's shot is up off the front of the iron. It's no good. And Glenwood City comes away with it. About 45 seconds to go in the half. They get it over to Devin Olson, who puts it up no good. And the ball goes out of bounds. Parker just let it go because it'll be Viking ball. (38-29) Vikings on top. Coming down to 30 seconds in the first half. Best has it between the circles. Feeds it over to the left side to Bertram-Schofield. Back out to Best. Over to Irwin. Back to Best. Bertram-Schofield. Vikings looking for a last shot, it looks like. To Best, to Bertram-Schofield. Back out to Best between the circles, to Bertram-Schofield on the left. To Best. They're down to 10 seconds. To Irwin. To Best, to Bertram-Schofield. Over to Irwin in the corner from the right side. She puts up the three. It's no good. Putback shot is up and goes in. Emily Bertram-Schofield with the shot right at the end of the half makes the score at halftime. Vikings 40, Glenwood City Hilltoppers 29, and we've got Viking halftime coming up right away.
Time now for Viking halftime with this week's edition of Viking Profile and the Colfax High School Report. That's all coming up following this brief timeout.
I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Marissa Harmon, a senior here at Colfax High School, and we'll be chatting with Marissa right after this message.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
We're talking with Marissa Harmon on Viking Profile, and Marissa, we know that you play basketball, but are you involved in any other activities at school?
Yes, I play softball. So.
And when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of experience have you had?
I can remember, what was at 3rd or 4th grade. Grew up with these girls, have been playing ever since.
So what's the most important thing that you've learned from playing basketball?
You have to work as a team.
Okay. And so when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some things that you're interested that keep you occupied?
I like to go hunt a lot, but that's a little bit out of the year, so I just got the dirt to do that too.
Okay. Now I've got a few rapid fire questions for you. Just give me the first thing that pops into your head on these. For example, pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Cake.
Okay, what kind of cake?
Chocolate cake.
With the real thick chocolate frosting on the top?
Yep, that'll work.
Yeah, that's evil and good, isn't it? So what's your favorite color and why?
Orange, because nobody else orange. I think it's underrated.
Okay, underrated orange. There you go. Now, if you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a hard one. To time travel, get to one place to another place really quick.
Okay. Now, your favorite NBA or a WNBA team?
Oh, God, I don't even know. I don't really have one. I don't watch it.
Okay. Now, your favorite college basketball team?
I don't college basketball either.
Okay. We're talking with Marissa Harmon on Viking Profile. And Marissa, what are your plans for after high school?
I plan to go to college. I'm not Stout or UW-Eau Claire, but definitely going to a 4-year degree somewhere.
You might be able to play some ball there too?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. So how about a shout out to your family?
Hi, Mom and Dad. Hi, Grandma and Grandpa.
So when people watch Viking games, what number do you wear and what position do you play?
I'm number 20, and I'm one of the point guards.
Okay, and that was number 20. It broke up just a little bit as you were saying that, but number 20. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, we want to thank Marissa Harmon for joining us today on Viking Profile, and coming up next is more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Time now for the Colfax High School report with an update about what's happening at Colfax High School.
At Colfax High School, last week, the girls' Viking basketball team went 2-0 and took over first place all alone in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference. The Vikings defeated the Boyceville Bulldogs 73-41 last Monday and then knocked off the Elmwood Plum City Wolves 66-43 on Thursday. That win left the Vikings with an 8-3 record overall, 8-1 record in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference. The Viking boys split their 2 games last week. On Tuesday, they defeated the first place Spring Valley Cardinals on a last-second shot, 53-51. Then on Friday, the boys were defeated by the Elk Mound Mounders, 61-36. Now, coming up this week, the Viking girls have 3 games, traveling to Elk Mound to take on the Mounders on Monday, then hosting the Glenwood City Hilltoppers on Tuesday, and finally traveling to Mondovi to play the Buffaloes on Friday. We'll carry all 3 of those games on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV, with Viking pregame at 6:55 and live play-by-play starting at 7:10. The Viking boys are scheduled to travel to Boyceville to take on the Bulldogs on Monday, and then travel to Elmwood to play the Elmwood Plum City Wolves on Thursday. The boys will then travel to Elk Mound on Saturday the 30th to make up their game with the Mounders that was postponed back on January 11th. We'll carry the Elmwood Plum City game on Thursday on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV with Viking pregame at 6:55 and live play-by-play starting at 7:10. Also this week, the middle school girls basketball team will travel to Glenwood City on Tuesday to take on the Hilltoppers. The Viking dance team will compete in the dance regionals in Hudson on Saturday. And in addition, this week, the Dunn-St. Croix Honors Choir band rehearsal will be held on Wednesday, and then their performance will be on Saturday in Spring Valley. Now, coming up next week, the Viking girls will travel to Spring Valley on Monday and to Durand on Thursday. Meanwhile, the Viking boys will host Glenwood City on Tuesday and travel to Mondovi on Friday. Next week, Saturday, the dance team will compete at the Dance State Competition in La Crosse. Hey, don't forget, seniors, scholarship applications are due next week, Friday, and the ACT test is next week, Saturday. And also, the FBLA Regional Conference is next week, Saturday. And that's what's happening at Colfax High School for the week of January 24th through the 30th.
You've been tuned to the Colfax High School Report with an update about what's happening at Colfax High School. Stay tuned. Coming up next is more Viking halftime and then second half action.
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's Viking game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
And we're back here at Colfax High School. Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow. An almost halftime score of the boys game over in Durand. It's the Durand Panthers kind of having their way with the Viking boys by a score of 37-15. Dan, we are currently at 40-29. Vikings on top of Glenwood City. How did we get there?
Here's the scores right now. For Glenwood City. Their leading scorer right now is number 22, Ray Elke, with 11. Isabel Rosbeck is not too far behind. She has 9 points, followed by Kendall Schultz with 5, and Maddie Elke with 4. For the Colfax Vikings, their leading scorer right now is number 30, Emily Bertram Schofield. She has 9 points, followed by Addison Olson and Riley Parker. They both have 8. We have Marissa Harmon with 7, and we have number 22, Maddie Barstead. She has 6 points. So 40-29 is their halftime score.
And we're getting ready to start the second half. It appears as though the Glenwood City Hilltoppers will get the ball to start the second half. As we're just about set as the officials get the ball from over by the scores table. And they turn down the jump around, and we'll get the players to start jumping around here in just a minute. Vikings out on the floor. Glenwood City made a little bit of a run back to get back into this game. They were falling behind by nearly 20 in the first half, and now they've made a run back to, well, it's an 11-point game right now, but they were down around 8 for quite a while there towards the end of the first half. Fairweather to inbound it for the Hilltoppers. She gets it into Rhea Elke, who takes it to the left side. Gets it out to Schutz. Schutz puts up the 3 and hit it. Kendall Schutz. And the Vikings bring it down the floor. Against full court pressure. Paulus has it on the right side. Takes it down to the corner, gets it out to Barstead. Barstead launches a 3. It's no good. Maddie Elke with the rebound. Gets it over to Schutz. To Rosbeck on the right. Back out to Schutz between the circles. To Rosbeck on the right. She takes it down the right side. Puts it up no good. And loose ball chased down by Olson for the Vikings. She comes down across the timeline. Feeds it over to Paulus on the right side. Down into the right corner to Harmon. Back out to Paulus. Over to Olson on the left. To Bradford on the left corner. Back out high to Olson. Back down to Bradford. Launches the 3. It's off the air. No good. And Ray Elke gets the rebound for Glenwood City. Down the floor they come. They've got it between the circles. Feeds it over to the left side. This is Rhea. She gets it out to Schutz. From the left baseline, it rattles home. 40-34, they've cut the Viking lead to 6. Full court pressure being put on Addison Olsen. She gets it up to Barstead. Barstead into the lane. Feeds it over to Harmon. Lays it up off the glass and in. And down the floor comes Glenwood City. That's 9 points for Harmon tonight. Schutz has it. Gets it over to Rhea Elke on the left side. Cross-court pass to Rosbach. She goes up with it. It doesn't go in, but she got fouled by Harmon on the way up. Gave her a little hip check there. That's what happens when you do hockey line changes. You start hip checking like you're playing hockey. Dan, you know all about that.
I've been hip checked a few times.
Just a few, yeah. Rosbach's first shot is up and in.
And I had it coming too.
And the second shot is on the way. It's also good. 42-36. Vikings up by 6. Olsen has it in the backcourt. Gets it to Barstead. Long pass down the floor. A little bit too hot for Bradford to handle. And it goes out of bounds. And so Glenwood City cut it to 4. Rosbach with it between the stills. Gets it over to the right side to Rhea. Drives the baseline. And she lost the handle and the ball goes out of bounds. And we have a timeout being called by Glenwood City with 16:06 to go in the game. Vikings 42, Hilltoppers 36. And you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Viking. Vikings to inbound the ball. Olsen has it. Over to Best, to Barstead, to Olsen. She brings it across the timeline. Down into the right corner to Bertram Schofield. Puts up the shot, no good. Rebound taken down by Glenwood City. Down the floor they come. Feeding it off into the left corner to Rosbach. Tries to drive into the lane. Goes off her own foot. Fairweather has it now. Over to the right corner to Rhea Elke, and she took an extra step. Turnover goes over to the Vikings. And Best has it in the backcourt. Feeds it up to Barstead, to Olsen across the timeline, down into the corner. It's just like the last time they brought it down. To Bertram Schofield. This time she lost the handle, and Glenwood City comes away with the ball. Schutz with it across the timeline. Over to Rosbach on the left. Down to Rhea. Tries to feed it into the lane to Maddie Elke, and the ball gets knocked out of bounds by the Vikings. Barstead knocks it away. So Glenwood City will retain possession. Fairweather to inbound. Feeds it to Schutz, puts the shot up. It's off iron, no good, but she's going to go to the line for 2. And the foul's on Addison Olsen. It's her first personal. First team foul on the Vikings, or second team foul on the Vikings. First shot by Schutz is up. It rattles around and out. Schutz has 10 points on the night. And the shot's on the way. It's good. That's 3 different girls for Glenwood City with 11 points. Vikings get it across the timeline. Pass gets fed underneath. To Shipman. She puts it up and draws the harm. Shipman with 2 on the lay-in, and she's going to go to the line for the third. 44-37. Vikings up by 7. McKenna Shipman is on the way. Nothing but net. 45-37. Vikings back up by 8. Glenwood City inbounds it to Schutz. Long pass down the floor to Fairweather. Her shot, her layup goes up under the rim and comes down right into the hands of the Vikings. Olsen brings it across the timeline, feeds it across to Best on the left side. She takes it to the free throw line, gets it back out to Shipman, puts up the three, off the iron, no good. And down come the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Shuts across the timeline. Over to the left side, feeds it out to Rhea. Rhea into the lane, jump shot is up and in. 45-39, Vikings back to 6-point lead. Barstead feeds it forward to Shipman, lays it up, it's no good, and we have a foul being called. I believe it's going to be on Emily Bertram-Schofield. It is. That's her second personal, third team foul on the Vikings. Fairweather to inbound it. Vikings putting pressure on. Fairweather has it. Gets it across the timeline. It gets knocked away by the Vikings, but knocked back inbounds into the hands of Glenwood City. Fairweather across the timeline. Gets it over to Rhea. Down into the corner to Maddie. Back out to Rhea on the left. Now towards the lane. Fairweather lays it up. No good. Olsen with the rebound. Olsen down the floor. Puts on a little speed as she goes down the right side. Gets it out to Best. Puts up the three. Jasmine Best hit the three-pointer. 48-39. Vikings by 9. Down the floor comes Glenwood City. Shuts with it on the left side. Gets it out to Maddie Elke from 3. And she answered with a three-pointer. Off the floor comes the ball for Shipman. And we're going to get a foul being called on Maddie Elke. And I think she took the worst of that collision. Irwin into the lineup for Olsen on the Viking side. She inbounds it to Best. They feed it over to Barstead on the left. To Irwin in the left corner. She dribbles it back out high. Gets it to Shipman between the circles. Over to the right side to Best. Best at the top of the key. Gets it over to Bertram-Schofield on the right. Then to Barstead and the lane, and she turns around, puts it up and in. Glenwood City bringing it down, shuts on the dribble. Gets it across the timeline, tries to feed it down on the left side, but it's knocked out of bounds by Bertram-Schofield. And Daniel, that's actually a pretty good play, but yes, you don't get possession of the ball, but you break up what they're trying to do.
Yeah, good hustle by number 30, Emily, on that one.
And she does it again, knocks the ball out of bounds. Now she heads out to the lobby, pick up a bag of popcorn and a hot dog, and comes back in.
Man, that sounds good about now, don't it?
It does. Inbound pass to Rhea, out high, wide, and left. Then to Rosbach, back to Rhea. Over to Schutz on the left side, back out to Rhea at the top of the key. Gets it over to Maddie on the right side. Now out to Schutz from the left side. Puts the shot up. It's no good. Rebound gets tapped around. Coming away with it is Fairweather. Gets it out to Maddie Elke. Three-pointer on the way is no good. Rebound taken down by Best as she's coming down the floor. Across the timeline. All the way down to the right side. Feeds it over to Barstead. Barstead had to go high for it. Gets the ball. Tries to put it up. It doesn't go in. And the ball keeps getting knocked around underneath. We have a jump ball being called as Shipman tied for Rhea. As Rhea turned around, Shipman stuck those hands on the ball and got the jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. Full court pressure being, or we're at the Viking end, I should say. Pass into Barstead, shot is no good. Irwin tries to put it back up, but got fouled on her way up, and I believe the foul is going to be on Maddie Elke. Nope, check that. The foul is on Kendall Schutz instead. That's her third personal, third team foul on Glenwood City. And Irwin's shot is good. 51-42. And the second shot is on the way, and it's good. 52-42, Vikings back up by double digits now. Rosbeck gets it over to Elke. And the pass across the timeline, and Emily Schofield races over and intercepts the pass. Brings it down to the right side, gets it out to Irwin, launches a three off the back of the iron, and the rebound by Rhea. Rhea Elke on the long rebound. Takes it across the timeline and between the circles, flips it over to the left side. Back out to Rhea at the top of the key. She takes it into the lane. Now out to Maddie. Maddie puts up the three. It's not good. And Best chases down the loose ball. She's coming down the floor on the left side. Lays it up and it goes in. Jasmine Best with the lay-in. 54-42, Vikings on top. Ross back with it. And she gets it over to Devin Olson. Who gets it to Rhea on the right side. She's high, wide, and right. Cross-court pass over to the left side to Rossback. Rossback over to Rhea. Feeds it underneath to Fairweather. Puts up the shot, no good. Maddie puts up the putback. It's no good, and we've got a whistle. And a foul underneath on Glenwood City. And that foul is going to be on Delaney Fairweather. That's her second personal. Fourth team foul and timeout on the floor. Vikings on top, 54-42. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcast Network and NLWN-TV.
NLWN-TV is excited to present live NWA-RCI's racing action. Next Saturday, January 30th, we will present racing from Stanley, Wisconsin. Join us at 11:45 a.m. from Otter Lake in Stanley. These races are sponsored by the Curve Inn in Stanley. That's live ice racing action at 11:45 a.m. on Saturday, January 30th on NLWN-TV.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380. Back here at Colfax School as the Vikings inbound the ball. Bertram Schofield feeds it up across the timeline to Barstead. Barstead over to the left side to Best, who puts up the three and hit it. Jasmine Best with a three-pointer. She's got 8 points on the night. Down the floor comes Glenwood City. Ross back with it. And the Vikings wriggle the ball away from her. Irwin drives down and lays it up and in. Abby Irwin with another basket. 6 points for her on the night. Fairweather with it. Vikings putting on some full court pressure. Ross back over to Fairweather. Still in the backcourt. Back over to Rossback. Takes it across the timeline. Passes it to Olson. They get it over to Rhea. And her shot gets partially blocked, and the Vikings have the ball. 59-42. Vikings on top. Barstead with it. Gets it over. Shipman puts up the three. It rattles around and out. Rebound taken down by Glenwood City. Down the floor comes Rossback on the right side. Feeds it across underneath to Maddie, and it doesn't go in. Maddie Elke is having some struggles from the floor tonight. 7 points for her tonight, way below her average. Best drives down the lane, puts it up and in for the Vikings. 61-42. Vikings up by 19. Starting to take command in this game. Across the timeline comes Glenwood City. Rossback with it, gets it over to Olson. Over to Rhea on the right. Then to Fairweather. Feeds it in lane to Rossback, who puts it up and in. 61-44. Long pass to Irwin. Across the timeline. Gets it to Barstead from the free throw line. It's no good. Shipman tries to put a shot back up. It's errant, but the Vikings chase it down. Barstead with it. Out to Best. Bertram Schofield from three. It's no good. Found taken away by the Vikings, and Best puts up another three-pointer. It's no good. Loose ball gets chased down by stolen away by the Vikings, and we have a ball loose on the floor, and it gets picked up by Rhea, and it doesn't go in. She had a layup, and it didn't go in. Glenwood City does come away with a loose ball. Fairweather has it. Get it down to Maddie Elke. Back out to Fairweather. Driving into the lane is Maddie, and she can't get it along the left baseline, and we're going to get a foul called underneath. And I think it's going to be on Emily Bertram-Schofield. It is. It's on Emily Bertram-Schofield. It's her third personal. Fourth team foul for the Vikings. 4 in, 4 out for the Vikings. Glenwood City to inbound. Fairweather gets it into Schutz, out between the circles. Sends it down to the left corner to Fairweather, feeds it into the lane to Rhea. She lays it up off the glass and in. 61-46. Olsen across the timeline for the Vikings. Takes it down the right side. Feeds it out to Bradford, to Barstead. In the lane, puts the shot up. It rolls around and in. The front of the iron, hit the back of the iron, the backboard, and then went down through. Glenwood City bringing it down. Schutz over by the sideline. Feeds it over to Fairweather. They get it over to... She gets across the timeline. Feeds it down to the lane, and the pass gets intercepted. Olsen comes away with it. Quickly down the floor on the left side this time is Olsen. She feeds it out to Parker. Parker with the three-pointer on the way. It's off the front of the iron. No good. Loose ball gets tipped around. They're going to get Parker with a foul. She knew it. She knew that one with the look on her face. Yeah, I did that one. That's the first foul on Parker. Fifth foul on the Vikings. Schutz has it as she comes down in the backcourt. Gets it over to Fairweather. Passes it across the timeline to Rhea. On the right side, down towards the right baseline, then passes it back out to Fairweather. Now Fairweather takes it down the right side, outside the arc. Feeds out to the top of the key to Schutz. Schutz drives down the lane. It does not go in. Olsen comes away with a loose ball. Quickly down the floor, we have a 2-on-1. Feeds it underneath to Barstead. Barstead lays it up off the glass. That was a pretty looking play, Dan. 65-46, and we have a whistle.
Yeah, good job by Addison Olsen there to keep her head up and finally open Maddie for the 2 points.
And Glenwood City inbounds it. Schutz takes it across the timeline, but she trips and falls. Landed on the knee. She's not too happy about it. And I think they're going to get Olsen with the foul. Yeah, she tripped over Addison's foot, and that's Olsen's second personal, sixth team foul on the Vikings. So Glenwood City will be in the bonus. And Schutz trips and falls again. She didn't need Addie's foot that time. And Addison picks up the ball. And we get a whistle and a foul on Schutz this time as she grabbed Addison as she put a spin move on. And that's the fourth foul on Schutz. 15 foul on Glenwood City. Olsen with it. Feed it to Barstead, who drives to the free throw line. Feeds it out. Olsen has it on the left side of the baseline. Gets it out to Barstead on the side of the lane. Left side, she drives down, lays it up and in. Maddie Barstead with 14 points on the night. Down the floor, and Glenwood City loses control, but Rhea picks it up. They get the ball over the timeline. Fairweather picks it up. Now she settles things down from over on the left side, dribbles it out to the top of the key. Now down the right side of the lane, down into the corner to Maddie Elke. Back out high to Draxler. Cross-court pass over to Fairweather. Shot goes up. It's no good. And we have a battle underneath, and we're going to get a foul. And I think they're going to call Parker with the foul. A little slow getting up. They do. Parker thought she was coming out. Actually, it was Maddie Barstead coming out. At the free throw line is Rhea Elke. She's shooting a 1-on-1. First shot's on the way. Good. 67-47. Maddie Elke has 16, or excuse me, this is Rhea Elke, has 16. Second shot on the way. It's also good. It's a good night for the 5'9" freshman. 17 points. Olsen brings it down to the free throw line, feeds it over to the right side to Bradford. Cross court pass to Parker. On the left side, down to Paulus. Back out high to Olsen. They swing it back around to the right side. Brad has it to Olsen, drives the right baseline, lays it up off the glass and in. That's 10 points tonight for Olsen. And down the floor come the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Shuts on the dribble. Feeds it down onto the left side to Rhea. Cross-court pass to Sister Maddie. Down into the corner to Fairweather. And a pass into the lane. We're going to get a foul called on Paulus. She tried to knock the ball away, but kind of got tied up with Rhea Elke in the process. Into the lineup is Tyler Hall, replacing Parker for the Vikings. Rhea's free throw is good, so she gets another. 69-49. And the second shot is in and out, no good. Noah with the rebound, gets it to Olsen. Olsen down the floor for the Vikings. Feeds over to the right side, tries to go all the way down, tries to lay it up. It goes out of bounds, but it'll be Vikings ball because it was last touched by Maddie Elke. Harmon looking for somewhere to go, gets it in, tries to get it in and all, but stepping underneath is Rosbach, and she comes away with it. Or the Hilltoppers, feeds it over to the right side to Schutz. Schutz at the top of the key now, over to the left side to Maddie. Back out high, and over to Rosbach on the right side. Gets it to Rhea in the right corner. She's being guarded closely by Noel. Out high to Schutz. Drives to the lane, out to the left side to Maddie, puts up the three, it does not go. Noel with the rebound, gets it over to Olsen, and down the floor come the Vikings. Harmon with it on the left side, gets it out to Paulus at the top of the key, over to Noel on the right. Tried to feed it to Harmon, and they just kind of misconnected. Harmon when Noel thought she was going to zag, and ball went behind her. Kind of looks like a couple of those Aaron Rodgers passes from last Sunday. Just not quite in the right direction. Hopefully the Vikings don't have the same result. Down the floor comes Glenwood City. Rosbach has it on the side. Now she takes it up between the circles, feeds it down to Schutz from the right, and rebound taken down by the Vikings. Jeanette Hajdukovic into the lineup for the Vikings. They get it out high to Noel. They feed it down into the left corner to Molly Hydorn. Gets it into the lane. Turnaround jumper is good by Aaliyah Reen for the Vikings. 71-49, Vikings on top. Down the floor comes Glenwood City. Over to Maddie. A baseline jumper by Rhea, and she got fouled on her way up. So she's going to go to the line. And that foul is going to be on Tyler Noel. It's her first personal 9th team foul on the Vikings. Elke's shot is good. (71-50). But Rhea Elke is having a night. 19 points. Second shot on the way. It's also good. A 20-point night for Rhea Elke. Nice job for the freshman. Vikings inbound it to Hydorn. He brings it down across the timeline on the right side. Puts on the brakes. Gets out to Reen. Then to Noel. Noel passes down the left side to Hajdukovic. Hook shot goes up and in. Jeanette Hajdukovic with the power forward hook shot that she has. And down the floor comes Glenwood City. Schutz with it, gets it over to Maddie. Back to Schutz. Pass back over to Maddie. Being pressured. Maddie drives to the left baseline. Puts it up, no good. Rebound. Chased down by DeSmith. Shot goes up, and the Vikings come away with it. Hydorn feeds it over to Noel. Noel feeds to Hydorn, cutting down the lane, but doesn't have a shot. Gets it to Hajdukovic, who lifts it up and in. Gennat Hajdukovic with 4 points on the night. And down the floor comes Glenwood City, 75-51. Feeding it over to the left side. Coming down the baseline is Elke, puts up 2 shots and doesn't get either one of them to fall. Green with the rebound and gets it to Hydorn, 2:15 to go in the game. Hydorn stops at the free throw line. Feeds it out to Noel. Then to Reen, back out to Noel. 3-point shot goes up by Goodell, and it's no good. Rebound taken down by Glenwood City, but she's tied up in the backcourt and finally gets the ball over to Shucks, who brings it down. And we have a timeout being called with 50 to go. Timeout called by Glenwood City, and you are tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
You have a high-deductible health plan. Opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Minute 50 to go in this one. Vikings well in command, 75-51. Vikings to go 10-3 on the season. 10-1 in the Dunn-St Croix Conference. All alone in first place. Glenwood City has it. Shot goes up. It's no good. That shot was by Wagner. And down the floor comes Hydorn for the Vikings. Takes it down to the right corner. Kicks it out to Goodell. Shot is no good. Reen comes away with it for the Vikings. Gets it out to Noel. And they're going to say Noel traveled. Tyler Noel on with the turnover. Minute 20 to go. And evidently they inbounded it at the wrong place. And they'll try again. So Glenwood City has it. They feed it down into the lane. Turnaround by Draxler, and she couldn't get the shot off. They feed to the cutter into the lane, and that was Elena Johnson, and the shot goes up and in. That shot was by Devin Olson. Hydorn with it. Lays it up and in from the lane. Hydorn took a spin move down the lane and laid it up and in. 77-53, under a minute to go. Down the floor comes Johnson on the dribble. They feed it across court. Can't quite make the connection. Goes out of bounds. Just under 38 seconds to go. And the Vikings are going to try and run the clock here. Hydorn with it. They feed it over to Goodell. Goodell up to Noel. To Reen. Reen dribbles back out between the circles. Out to Hydorn on the right side. Feeds it across to Hajdukovic on the left. Back across to Noel on the right. Down into the right corner to Goodell. Back out high to Reen. Reen to Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic to Hydorn. 8 seconds to go. She dribbles down out in the corner. 3 seconds. And there's the horn. Final score in this one. Colfax Vikings 77. And the Glenwood City Hilltoppers 53. And we're going to have Viking post game coming up right after this timeout. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting and NLWN-TV.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
You're tuned to the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. We use advertising revenue to make this service available to you. If you have a business and would like to get your message out to our ever-increasing audience, give us a call at 715-563-1749. We'll be happy to discuss our budget-friendly advertising packages with you. Get your business noticed on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV by calling 715-563-1749.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother and...
I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Thank you for joining us for Colfax Viking girls basketball. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Post Game, where we'll take a look back at today's Viking game.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Time now for Viking postgame, with a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking girls game. And now, Viking postgame.
And Rick Olson back here along with Dan Petschow at Colfax High School, where the Vikings come out on top 77-53. Dan, how'd we get to that score?
Yeah, here's the scores for Glenwood City tonight. Their leading scorer was... And number 22, Araya Elke with 20 points, followed by Isabella Rosbeck with 13. We had Kendall Schutz with 11. We had number 5, Maddie Elke with 7. And Devin Olson with 2 for the Colfax Vikings. Their leading scorer tonight was number 14, Maddie Barstead with 14 points, followed by Addison Olson and Jasmine Best with 10. We had Marissa Harmon and Emily Bertram Schofield with 9. We had Riley Parker with 8. We had Abby Irwin with 6. We had Jeanette Hajdukovic with 4. We had McKenna Shipman with 3. And we had Ray Irene and Molly Hardon with 2.
Okay, very good. And that gets us to 77-53. Vikings on top. And joining us right now is Coach Serrar. And Coach, another win.
Yeah, we're staying in first place, and this one feels good. And, you know, you could tell we were a little bit tired tonight after our hard work last night, but I was impressed with, you know, just our quick turnaround and how we were able to, you know, come to a decisive victory.
And Glenwood City would have liked nothing more than to play spoiler, and they sure through most of the first half they gave it a pretty good run. In fact, they made a nice run towards the end of the first half to all of a sudden make it a game again.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Glenwood. Carly's got them playing well. You know, that younger Elke girl, she really came to play tonight.
She had 20 points.
Yeah, she couldn't miss. So, yeah, they did an excellent job, and I thought they executed their game plan really well. We adjusted second half and, you know, turned on a press a little bit, and that helped us kind of get going.
And so now the Vikings are 10-3 overall, 10-1 in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference. A 10-win season is always a good thing. And, you know, you've got these girls doing what they're supposed to do at the right time of year.
Yeah, you know, we haven't won anything yet, so we got our eyes set on Mondovi now, and we're just still taking it one game at a time.
Wouldn't it be really sweet to go down there to Mondovi and get a little payback?
Yeah, because they beat us the first time around, and we really felt like they stole that one from us. So, but hey, we created a monster, so they think they can beat us,
And they did that to you. That was your very first game of the season, and these girls, as you said in Coach's Corner when we talked about this game, this is not the same team that was playing back in early December.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. We were kind of trying to find ourselves there a little bit at the beginning of the year, and I think we've settled into our role, and I anticipate the girls will come ready to play.
Well, terrific. So we will have you, unfortunately, we're going to have you remotely, but we'll have you with that game in Mondovi on Friday. So good luck on that one. And congratulations, 77-53. That's always a nice score to see when it's in your favor.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet. And we'll have more Viking postgame right after this timeout. You're tuned to Viking postgame on Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
NLWN-TV is excited to present live NWARCI's racing action. Next Saturday, January 30th, we will present racing from Stanley, Wisconsin. Join us at 11:45 a.m. from Otter Lake in Stanley. These races are sponsored by the Curve Inn in Stanley. That's live ice racing action at 11:45 a.m. on Saturday, January 30th on NLWN-TV.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow. We're back here at Colfax High School where the Vikings have emerged victorious over the Glenwood City Hilltoppers by a score of 77-53. Dan, your comments about this one?
Yeah, good job by Colfax. Tough night last night. I mean, back-to-back games, it's always a tough thing, and the girls stayed with it. Glenwood City made that run into the first half, into the second, and it helps when Colfax has such a deep bench.
It really does.
11 girls, you don't have to rely on 4 or 5 girls to carry the team,
And how many did the Vikings have in double figures tonight?
We had 1, 2,
Three?
Three
into double figures and a couple more at 9.
Yeah.
And one at 8. So the Vikings put up some points tonight and spread it out very, very nicely. So 77-53. I do have to give hats off to Rhea Elke, though, for Glenwood City. This young 5'9" freshman came in and put up 20 points against a pretty stingy Viking defense, and she put up 20 of that 53 points that Glenwood City got.
Yeah, she was a scrapper. She got in there, got to the baseline, got some points, got some fouls, racked up some points.
Well, we've got some more action coming up here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Our next girls' game is scheduled for Friday night when the Viking girls travel to Mondovi for a real critical Dunn-St. Croix conference matchup, as we were just talking with Coach Serrar about. They'll be taking on those Mondovi Buffaloes who beat the Vikings in the very first game of the season, and we're going to bring you that game remotely with Viking pregame starting at 6:55, live play-by-play at 7:10. Next boys game to be covered on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV will be the day after tomorrow, Thursday, when the Vikings travel to Elmwood to take on the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. We'll bring you that game remotely with Viking pregame at 6:55 and live play-by-play at 7:10. Don't forget, Saturday, that's our next coverage. Well, kind of is our next coverage. Tomorrow night, we have a replay of last Saturday's ice racing that took place in Bloomer last Saturday. That will start at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. But then we also have our next live coverage of NWIRC ice racing will be this coming Saturday, and we will be at Otter Lake in Stanley, and our coverage begins at 11:45.
Yeah.
Actually, keep your eye on our Facebook page and our webpage, because that time is likely to change. I was talking with the NWIRC people, and they have more numbers than they expected, and so it's liable to change. So right now we're scheduled for 11:45, but that may move up an hour or so. So just keep your eyes on that.
Yeah, check it out, because it's not what everybody thinks it is.
No, this is a lot of fun.
Everybody thinks that it's car racing.
No, these are 4-wheelers and motorcycles, and they really get flying around that track.
Yeah, and it's what ages between.
I would say some of the younger ones were preteens, and right up through. I mean, they're on the Pee-wee machines, and all the way up through guys that are probably our age.
Yeah, so it kind of covered all ages.
And then don't forget that Classic Wissota Racing action is going to start in March, on March 17th, where we bring back 7 of the races from Eagle Valley Speedway and a few extra features that John is working on, and we'll have that for you coming up in March. So, Dan, I guess we'll see each other next Thursday for the boys' game from Elmwood as the Vikings take on the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Final score in this one, once again, Viking 77, Glenwood City Hilltoppers 53 for Dan Petchow. This is Rick Olson, and you have been tuned to Viking Postgame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking girls game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.